My name is Annie Ivins. I'm a petroleum geologist and I work for an Australian mining company, BHP Billiton, and I work in Houston, Texas. BHP is the largest mining company in the whole world. It is even bigger than Rio Tinto, which owns the Kennecott copper mine. I go to work most days in an office, so I usually dress business casual. Other geologists might work in the field, but most petroleum geologists work most days in an office. As a petroleum geologist, I analyze data like seismographs to determine whether a particular area has oil that can be recovered. To get this job, I first obtained a Bachelor's of Science degree in geology from SUU in Cedar City, Utah. It is difficult to get a job as a geologist in the petroleum industry with just a bachelor's degree, but if you do, you probably make about $70,000 a year. I was lucky to go to graduate school in Oklahoma and earn my master's degree in geology with a specialty in petroleum. My company paid my tuition and even gave me a stipend while I was in graduate school. With a master's degree, I earn about $105,000 a year in the first few years of my career. I usually work around 8 or 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. When there are special projects that need to get finished before a deadline, I might even work around 80 hours in a week, even more, to get the project done. I do lots of my work in a group setting working on projects. I use a computer heavily in my work. My fieldwork has changed a lot with technology. I rarely even go into the field anymore because the fieldwork is already done for me by the technology. During the 1980s, there were a lot of petroleum geologists. Then there were about 15 years when not any people entered this career. About 50% of the older geologists will be retiring in the next 5 years, so there will be many job opportunities. I expect to become a team supervisor or manager in the coming years. Some professional organizations I'm a member of include the AAPG, the American Association of Petroleum Geologists, and the AIPG, the American Institute of Professional Geologists. Because this job is in such high demand, if you are able to get a job in this field, I suggest you stick with it. It is very competitive to get into a graduate degree program, so you need to work very hard in undergraduate school to get good grades and stay focused. When I first started learning about this career, I did not think it was very interesting. I was really surprised how much I learned and how interesting this career is. I learned you have to keep up your grades, have good citizenship, and you also need to be very focused on your grades and work all the time. You have to be willing to give up a social life a little bit so you can keep up on your studies. You have to work very hard in college to be able to go to graduate school because it's really hard to get a petroleum job without a master's degree. But it looks like a fun job and it pays really well.